Live from Fox 31 Denver, this is the Republican gubernatorial primary debate, sponsored by the Colorado Republican Party and moderated by political reporter Eli Stokols.
And good morning and welcome live inside the Fox 31 Denver studio. We are very pleased to be presenting this live 90-minute debate featuring 4 of the top 5 Republican candidates for governor in this gubernatorial primary debate. Let's take a minute to meet the candidates who are with us now. We'll start with State Senator Greg Brophy from Ray. Good morning.
Good morning, Eli. And I'm a little disgusted with the media because they're glorifying marijuana right now in Colorado, leading the news all of the time, a whole section of its own in the newspaper, and we have to combat that.
Maybe onto something since we just did 3 or 4 questions on marijuana, so apologies from the media. Let's switch gears and talk about education. I imagine all of you voted against Amendment 66 last year, is that right? And on Nightside with breaking news, a hit and run leaves a child dead, and authorities think they have the person who did it in custody. Thanks for staying with us. I'm Eli Stokols. Breaking news tonight involving the state's ban on gay marriage. 9 Colorado couples will sue the state over Amendment 43, which bans gay marriage in the state by defining marriage as between a man and a woman. The plaintiffs say that violates the U.S. Constitution's Equal Protection Clause, the same argument that's been made in other federal lawsuits challenging gay marriage bans now in Utah and Oklahoma. Colorado bikers rallying together in honor of a sheriff sergeant killed in the line of duty. Sergeant David Baldwin died last month when a wrong-way driver on Highway 93 struck his motorcycle head-on. Today, members of the nonprofit Biker Down paid tribute to Sergeant Baldwin by organizing this fundraiser at Rockwood Fired Pizza in Lakewood. They say the event is a way to recognize a fallen hero who did so much for the community. Police say a Parks and Recreation worker is the suspect in at least 2 attempted murders that could be gang-related. Police arrested 33-year-old Damian Baca on Monday, and as Channel 2's Tammy Vigil explains, his arrest is raising questions of how the city could hire someone with such an extensive criminal record. That number 98, so meaningful to the LGBT community, and really, as he was saying, amazing to think how much has changed in 15 years.
Yeah, there's no doubt, and he basically just gives a lot of credit to what Jason Collins is doing by wearing that number 98.
Yeah, he wrote about wearing that number in the Sports Illustrated piece and said, no, he never really explained what it meant before, but it meant that to him all along.
Now we see exactly.
Yeah. Nick, thanks very much. Coming up, Chris Parente with tonight's celebrity tweet of the night. You know you've been waiting for it. Plus the viral video from the cast of Frozen. 73% of children consumed caffeine on any given day.
Oh yeah, it's like you get a Frappuccino and it's not even, you don't even think about that it's coffee.
It's been going on for years. The OC came out, that show's like 10 years old, and those kids on that show, it was a yuppie rich kid school in California, but they had a coffee bar. I always thought that was weird.
Still know what the OC is.
That's what I thought of when I was watching that story. I was
like,
in the OC they drank coffee at school.
You're a big fan, right?
I'm from the OC, little known fact.
He had a coffee shop in his high school.
I know he didn't. Now read that sign, baby.
You have got to explain this one to us.
You know, you write a story about somebody, he's aspiring to run for governor, one of the owners of Shotgun Willie's, and I wrote a story about him on our website on Tuesday, and apparently he liked it, because I did not wake up expecting to be on the marquee of Shotgun Willie's.
Awesome.
All right,
how do you transition
You should have seen what it said
I
after. It flashed from my sign to Large Ladies Twerk Off, February 14th. So just to give them a little more publicity.
For Valentine's Day.
Wow.
If you want to spend your Valentine's Day at the Twerk Off,
you know
should
where
be
to
a
go.
memorable
You know
night.
where he'll be.
Right after Eli.
You're welcome, Shotgun Willie's. Well, Deb, right now, if a minor walks into a liquor store and tries to use a fake ID, the shopkeeper, the person behind the counter, can take that ID away, ask the person to stay put, and then call police and wait for them to handle it. But if you walk into any of the marijuana shops down here along South Broadway or really anywhere across the state, the shopkeeper doesn't have the same ability. A proposal up for debate this afternoon at the Capitol would change that. Well, Jeremy, these huge infrastructure projects are just too expensive for the state to do on its own. They cost hundreds of millions of dollars. So really, there are just 3 options. 1, do nothing to improve the roads. 2, raise taxes, have the public pay for it. Or 3, have the state partner with private companies to pick up a lot of the front-end costs and make sure these projects get underway.
Politics on that level is a popularity contest, and he's a very hard guy to dislike.
Well, this is a year that's all about political rehabilitation for the governor, for Democrats generally, and they got to do it quickly. And that's what you saw in the State of the State address today, is that the governor was trying to remind people who he was when they elected him. I'm bipartisan, I'm optimistic, I'm upbeat, I'm a little weird, but I'm not going to, you know, he was emphasizing unity and trying to inspire people. This, you know, the state came together after the floods, the state's recovering, the state's recovered from the recession. It's about his recovery, his political recovery. Deb, Colorado Republicans haven't won a big statewide race in a decade. And a big reason why is because they've had trouble uniting behind one candidate. Cory Gardner could be the guy who changes all of that, although not all of his rivals are ready to play along.
A rarity, but someone has to be the adult in the room.
Wiping back tears, Republican Amy Stevens says it wasn't easy ending her own U.S. Senate campaign. But when Cory Gardner decided to run, she saw an opportunity, not for herself, for her party.
I looked at what it takes to win. How can we unite? Cory is a great uniter.
After a decade of losses, Colorado Republicans view Gardner as a game changer who gives the GOP here its best shot of beating Democrat Mark Udall.
There's no question that Cory Gardner being in the race raises hopes for Republicans all the way up and down the ballot because of the quality of his candidacy and the amount of attention and money that his campaign is going to bring to Colorado.
Rob Whitwer, the former Republican lawmaker who co-authored the blueprint detailing how Democrats won Colorado, thinks Gardner can help Republicans win it back by uniting a fractured party and appealing to independent voters in a moderate state.
The only way to unify the party, Eli, is to go through the process and to earn people's support.
But Republican State Senator Owen Hill isn't about to end his own Senate bid challenging Udall, instead blasting the deal that got Gardner in and rivals Ken Buck and Stevens out.
It's not a coronation, it's an election. And people should be making that decision, not insiders in the party.
No backroom deals, no. Cory is my friend.
Stevens says Hill should follow her lead and put the party ahead of his personal ambition.
We talk about party, unity, but you have to do it, right? You have to live it. You have to walk this out. Now, that doesn't mean it isn't painful. That doesn't mean it isn't tough. But the fact is, it is Cory. Cory can do it, I believe.
A lot of Republicans also believe, very excited, but Gardner does have a very conservative voting record, and Democrats are already blasting away. The Udall campaign today issuing a statement that says, in part, quote, rather than bring Colorado's independence to Congress, Gardner is bringing Washington-style backroom deals to Colorado. That from the Udall campaign today. Clearly, it's already game on in what is suddenly a top-tier Senate race. I'm Eli Stokols, Fox 31, Denver.